Hello everybody! Recently I visited Moscow for the first time. Barni. The capital is the face of the country, but to learn more about this country you have to learn about life outside of the capital. My name is Natasha and I'm from Russian Far East, from the city of Khabarovsk. It's a city located 8... Что? My dog also wants to participate in this video. Khabarovsk is a city located 8,000 kilometers from Moscow. Barni. So Moscow has always been something unachievable to me. In this video I will tell you a little about my journey and about how Moscow differs from other Russian cities. And don't be surprised that I'm making this video sitting among potatoes in my огород. Just I didn't find any other good place for making videos. Подняла бабло на ставках и переехала в Москву. Это будущее просто. I'm going to the United States. The noodles is a famous Russian dish. I went to Moscow because I needed to pass an American visa interview, and now it's time for really big news that I'm going to the United States for 1 year. I became a finalist of a year program. I will go to Minnesota, Twin Cities, and my major is Chinese, but also I will study some other subjects, and I'm really happy about that because going to the America has always been my dream. So I want to announce that from now on I will be making videos about my life and studying in the United States, so stay tuned. And also I have a channel in Russian. And let's go back to Moscow. Since the year program is completely free, they paid for my round-trip tickets from Khabarovsk to Moscow. It cost about $350, which is quite expensive according to Russian measures, and it's one of the reasons why Russian people don't find it affordable to travel through Russia. Flight to Moscow took me about 8 hours. It was my first flight and I was really excited about that. I saw the location on the plane and once again I made sure that Russia is really large. It was so epic. Hello guys, now I'm in Moscow and today you and me have a beautiful opportunity to see this beautiful city. I will spend here about 3 days. If you are interested in the city and in my continue watching this video and let's go. The thing I like about the year program is that it gives me the opportunity to learn not only about the United States, but about Russia. One more example of it is that there in Moscow I met other guys who will also go to the United States due to this program. After our visas being approved, we went to the Red Square to make a surprise video for the program coordinators. It was really funny and I really liked communication with these guys. They all came from different parts of Russia and it's so interesting to learn something about these cities. And now I will tell you about things that I saw in Moscow and what surprised me in this city. The Red Square. I was really surprised to find out that Red Square is smaller than I imagined. It turned out to be not square in shape, but long and narrow. As I saw it only on TV, it always seemed to be the center of the world. But after I visited it, I realized that it's a real place. The Red Square is not so fearful anymore. It's true, safe and cozy, because I've been there. Так, что я скажу? Короче, подняла бабло на ставках и переехала в Москву. Moscow City. Also, I went to Moscow International Business Center. It's a complex of skyscrapers and you know, for Russia it's a very unusual place. That's why many Russians who visit Moscow usually take pictures with them. I also wanted to take a picture, but not a usual one. I made a photo with instant noodles. The noodles, mostly called doshik because of a company Doshirak, is a famous Russian dish. It's become a meme, a symbol of poor life, you know? And myself, eating doshik on the background of luxury life is like an illustration of the contrast that exists in Russia. The gap between the poor and the rich, between provinces and Moscow.
Лучший дошик – это дошик съеденный на фоне Moscow City.
I also visited Art Place. This is a whole quarter with interesting cafes and beautiful places for photo shootings. Especially I like this building and this graffiti in such an unusual place. Also, I really liked Moscow Underground, or metro as it's called in Russian. It's really comfortable and I enjoyed riding the subway from one station to another. Then I went for a walk in the center of Moscow and I really liked how the streets look. So guys, now it's the first time when I'm traveling in Moscow by my own. What I want to notice that the construction of the roads and the construction of the street is completely different from the Far East. I was surprised by the beautiful buildings and such good roads.
Это будущее просто вот.
Now I'm sitting somewhere in the district called Kitai Город. This district have a very unusual name because Kitai is China in Russian and Город is town. So we can say that Kitai Город is Chinatown, and actually I was thinking that it's called like Chinatown in New York, but actually a word Kitai, it's something from Old Russian and it meant a bunch of woods, something like that. Right now I'm standing near a cafe that is called Chinatown, so they made this wordplay with the Kitai Город and Chinatown. The next day I visited Red Square again, and there was a holiday, day of Slavic writing. There was a choir and I want to draw your attention to this picture. The picture of the police guarding the religion shows today's Russia really well. So my last day in Moscow was over. I went to the airport and set off to Khabarovsk. To conclude, I want to say that I really liked Moscow. I liked the underground, the politeness of people, and what is more, I saw that the urban environment in Moscow is different. When you walk among such beautiful buildings, along such comfortable streets, you feel that your life becomes easier because you don't think how to jump over this puddle. You don't think how to survive, but how to live. Unfortunately, you will not see such a picture in other Russian cities. The reason is that in Russia there is a big centralization, so all money go to Moscow and all laws come from Moscow. And Russian regions depend on capital really much, that's why we have such a sacred attitude to Moscow. However, I can't completely agree with the statement that Moscow is not Russia, because anyway, it's 11% of Russian population. Moscow is also Russia, but just one of its types. Что ты опять пришел? Что тебе надо, барни? And only now I understood why foreigners who visit Moscow can like Russia so much. Барни, не мешай. Смотри, барни, кусок земли. So, I hope that this video was interesting to you. Write in comments, have you ever been to Moscow or to other Russian regions? And what do you think about such a big gap between the capital and the rest of the country? Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos about Russia and the United States, like, tap the bell, and have a nice day. Goodbye. Barney, say something to my subscribers.